Hello and welcome to Scary Town, the Goosebumps and Fear State review show. I'm your host, Nightmare Nemo, and just in time for Christmas, it's time to review Fear Street Silent Night. There's the back cover. I love this tagline is "Happy Holidays, You're Dead," and the back says "Welcome to Fear Street." And this is different. It's one of the super chiller Fear Street. I don't know what significance that has, because there's Fear Street has like a ton of spin-offs, and I don't know if super chiller means it's longer, because it's a pretty long book. It's over 200 pages, and it even has, like, I've never seen this before in the other ones, where it has the little introduction of what Fear Street is. And so this story, it can be everything that happens in this story all leads to one character, Reva, our protagonist. There's actually really two protagonists. She is the catalyst for everything that happens in the book, because she is this quintessential mean girl. She's stuck up and feels like she's entitled. So she reminds me a lot of Chanel from Scream Queens, who is this, is very, very mean to people, likes to berate people and play jokes on people, and it's kind of like a borderline sociopath. And what they do in this book is they balance her out, because throughout the most of the book, she's like kind of like this unlikable character. But that's why they say there's another protagonist, who is Pam, who is her cousin, and it kind of balances, like, Reva's, her father owns the local mall, and so she's obviously wealthy, or more wealthy than anybody else in the town, I guess. But Pam is her cousin, who is kind of poor. Well, is kind of like living in the suburbs, and kind of trying to make ends meet. Basically, why Reva's like all this is because her mother died in a plane crash, and then ever since then she kind of bottles up her feelings and kind of is very cold to everyone, and feels that she needs to lash out at people in order to, I guess she feels she needs to put out this persona in order to not feel hurt again, not feel vulnerable. But she plays jokes on her friends and stuff, and especially her cousin, and because, like, it's around holiday season, and there's some new seasonal jobs being offered at her dad's store, and so she offers them to her friends, but then she plays a joke on them. Like, one of them is going to be working in the stock room, just stocking electronic equipment, and tells him to dress up in, like, his Sunday best, and just to mess with him, because, like, once he gets there, they're going to be like, you need to wear something more casual. And she does the same thing to this other girl, and this really means she does some other stuff. In particular, there's a scene early on where she breaks up with her boyfriend Hank, because she's, like, just bored of him or whatever, and breaks up with him in the car. And then he's just, like, kind of taken aback, just kind of wants, like, a reason, and she's kind of just, like, skirting things like, oh, we're just through, we just had it. And so she basically tells him, like, take a hike. It gets out the door, and it's cold and stuff, and she she's about to drive off, and he's already kind of like walking off alone, just like with his pockets in his coat, and he's like, won't feel him down. And she stops and she pulls up back next to him and lowers the window. And it says, "Hey, Hank," and he's like, "Hey, what? You know, did you change your mind?" And she says, "Happy holidays," and then she just drives off. So she's like Chanel from Scream Queen. She's like a terrible person, a terrible human being, but she has moments where she shows like remorse, and there's more depth to a character instead of just being this one dimensional, just this hate machine. Most people want to be like good natured and, you know, be nice to people, but it is kind of fun to see somebody just lash out at people and just be mean for like no reason. And it's just kind of like a form of escapism, you know. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that are like this, but I mean, and most people aspire to be, you know, good people. So I mean, I try to be a good person, and it's amusing to see this kind of person who's kind of like this caricature of this uptight, like mean girl, and she just does this stuff because she's bored, or, you know, and there's more reason to why she's doing this, and then she eventually learns the error of her ways at the end of the book. But so the book is divided into two parts. The first part is basically the setup, where, like, you know, there's somebody that's sending Reva these presents, and one of them is like the most deadly, and the other ones are just kind of like gross and disturbing. But the first one is somebody gives her a present of some lipsticks, and she puts it on, and then she like feels like a sharp pain, and there is a needle in the lipstick, and she starts like bleeding out, and it's like, oh, this is really messed up. And the other ones are, they're two other presents, and it's not as bad as that, but it's just like, whoa. It's pretty gross. It's like it's sent by a friend, and I mean, you find out who it is, but there's a lot of twists and turns, and that's what I like about the Fear Street books. There's a lot of mystery. You like you want to see who's behind all this, and so it all leads up to, because she's making enemies left and right. And the second part is to deal with Pam, her cousin, has her friends Mickey and Clay. Mickey, his father, was a security guard at the mall, and he got laid off. He's arriving to work just kind of drunk, and, you know, he's an alcoholic, and he's just the manager just like fired him because, you know, it felt like he was a liability, and it's kind of messed up. It fired him like 2 weeks before Christmas, so they all are like really mad at Reva and her father for like laying off Mickey's father, and just Reva for just being like a bitch. And so they hatched this plan to rob the store, and of course things don't go exactly as planned, and another mystery gets thrown into the mix, and everything at the end all ties together in a nice little bow. Ooh. So this is a really fun book, and initially I was like having fun, just Reva just being like a bitch to everyone. It's pretty funny to see her being mean to people, but there's more. There's layers to the story, and there's Pam and Mickey and Clay, and the robbery that doesn't go according to plan, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. It's around Christmas, because the book ends like Christmas Eve, and it feels good, and it's a lot of fun. It's great mystery, and there's some twists, because like I'm trying to figure out, who's behind all this, and then it kind of shocks you with who's behind everything, and it's a good mystery. So I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for something to try out. Fear Street is definitely one to check out. And you know, it's set during Christmas. The only negatives I would say is maybe from the get go, like if you don't like kind of like the mean spirited nature of Reva, you might be initially turned off. But if you just stick with it, you'll realize that there's more to the character. So definitely check this out if you're in the mood for some holiday mystery. And so next time we're going back to basics. We're going to review a holiday themed Goosebumps book, and you'll have to stay tuned to check out Beware the Snowman. So look forward to that pretty soon. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon.